So it's you hangout time, and today I'm joined by my good friend Tim. How are you doing, Tim?
Hi Warren, I'm really good, thanks.
Good, good.
And
Uh,
you?
yeah, I'm always good, thank you, mate. I'm always good.
I must say that the audio isn't that great. I hear some
Do I sound
robot
like a robot? Ah, typical.
sound like a robot. Yeah.
Okay, it's as always, plug it in and plug it out.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Um,
perfect. Good to roll now.
awesome, awesome. As always, we kind of do a brief kind of introduction. So, Tim, how'd you get in the world of Umbraco? You're
Well,
kind of like a veteran, aren't you? Really,
I've been in the community for I think 7 or 8 years.
it's like
I
forever.
was I was lucky enough to attend the first training that was ever done back in Copenhagen, I think in 2006.
Yep.
And then I just fell in love with Umbraco and started doing
Yeah,
projects
just
with
do.
it and started learning a lot and also started to share my knowledge on my blog, which is nibble.be, which has also been around forever. So if
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
take a
say.
look at the archive, my first post was in April 2008.
Wow,
So
vintage
it's been
blog,
around. Yeah, it's
vintage
a
blog.
vintage blog.
So yeah, obviously you do a lot of stuff in the Umbraco community. So today we're gonna look at something new you've built.
Yeah, well, last week I've built a simple new package that allows you to easily manage your custom 404 pages for Umbraco. So it's
Sweet.
called the Page Not Found Manager, a really corporate name,
Really, yeah, business name.
business name. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's free. It's not like Richard's commercial package. It's still free. Even with the enterprise name, it stays free.
awesome. Um,
So maybe I can share my screen
yeah,
now.
let's share your
Show you
screen and
what it's
let's
all about.
let's jump in.
Station share screen. Whoops. Start. Can you see my screen?
It's coming. I can now.
Okay. Well, in Umbraco by default, if you want to set up a 404 page, you can do so in the umbraco settings.config file. And you can, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been around for a little while now, isn't it? So yeah, in the config file, there's the Umbraco settings, and then there's a section like you're
Yeah,
showing, which is the errors element.
exactly. And you can set a node ID, a GUID. Well, now I'm using 7.3, and in 7.3 it changed a bit, so you can set node ID, a GUID, or an expat statement, but it's always for your entire site. Or you can
Yeah, it was always
also,
given for everything, wasn't it?
for everything, or you can also specify a culture, and based on the culture, specify an 404 page.
Hmm.
That's good when you have like a site with different languages. But now, what happens if if you're running multiple sites in Umbraco with
Yeah,
different
so
designs?
exactly. So for a client that we work at the Cogworks, we have the way that we approach multilingual is that normally there's a separate site for each kind of culture or language.
Hmm.
If we was to use this kind of errors config as it is out the box, we would just get like the English error page for all of the sites across the
Yeah,
board.
yeah, and you might need a different design for different sites. So and that what the page not found manager also solves. So the page not found manager will allow you to set it from the user interface. So by adding a new item in the context menu, you can see it here below.
Sweet.
So now for my English page, I already created a page not found. Um,
So
and I
it can
simply
be
say,
just any node type.
yeah,
I can
yeah, yeah, it can be any node. You just need to create it. Then I can say on my English homepage, set to 404 page. I can either search for it, so this is page not found, or select it from the tree when it's been set. Everything should be okay. And I can do that for all of my different sites. So, for example, for the NL site, I'll go to, oh, there isn't one. But for the campaign site, there's also one, page not found.
okay.
So now if I go to the front end, and I would go to something that doesn't exist.
So this is the English site that we're on.
Yeah, this is the English site. You see that I get a nice page not found site if I go to a URL that doesn't exist. And also if I take a look at the network tab, you should see that I get a nice little 404 status back.
Yeah, awesome. So you get a true HTTP status back as well.
Yeah, exactly. And if I were to go to my campaign site, so this has a different design, and go to a page that doesn't exist, I get that page not found page. So
Nice.
that's basically it. It's a really simple package, but it can be useful when you're running like these multiple sites in
No,
Umbraco.
it's definitely really useful. So under the hood, is it modifying that XML config section?
No, it isn't working with that config section. It's just adding a new one.
Okay, so mind
Since
showing
it's
us how it works? It's just out of,
Let's go to the code. So of course the code is on GitHub under my account Tim Geyssens, but I'll just quickly run through it. What we have is basically our config, which is a .config file, basically an XML file that has a class which we use to read and write to that config file. So read and write nodes to that config file.
Okay. So it's a separate file that I can deploy.
Yeah, it's a separate file that you...
my environment.
Yeah, exactly. And basically it looks really, really simple. If I take a look at how it now looks in my sample site, so app plugins, you see that it's a root element and then an element not found page with a parent and then the error page. So it's two node IDs that it stores.
Brilliant, awesome.
But what else is useful to show?
Yeah, so I suppose in terms of, I noticed that you in the startup class that you're adding your custom items to the context tree.
Yeah, and that's really, really simple to do. You just have to.
I like the way you always go, oh yeah, it's really, really simple. Which it is, but obviously you know this stuff inside out. So, but yeah, for people who may not know, it is very kind of straightforward though.
Yeah, it is straightforward, and that's also why I'm sharing the source code to just show people how it's done, and to inspire people to extend Umbraco.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So here, just taking a look at the code. So you're checking if the tree is the content tree.
Yeah.
And the current...
Only doing it for admins, so only having admin users having that for option, and then also checking if the node ID isn't -1, which is the root content node, and also -20, which is the recycle bin. So we don't need the option there.
Yep, makes sense.
And then I just add a new menu icon, which has
so is that the CSS class or
no, it's an alias for your menu item, then the name, the icon you wish to use, then which view to launch. So that's a custom view which is located in the app plugins folder.
Cool.
I think that's with also the title of the dialog, and if you wish to insert a separator before. So the separator is just the line we see.
So just like a horizontal rule in the...
Yeah, the rule you see here.
Oh, yep, I see it. Yep.
So as you see, you don't need a lot of code to extend.
No, that's like really kind of 10 lines, less than that by the looks of it. 22, exactly. 32, 10 lines of code.
And now the other part that might be interesting is the actual content finder. So you see here that I do something content last chance finder resolver, current set finder, new page not found, content finder. So if you wish to insert an 404 finder, you have to do it in this way.
Okay, so what is this doing under the hood then, or what is it trying to do?
Well, I guess Stefan would be best to answer this question, but as I understand it, it's just adding the I think somebody's asking a question, but we can answer that later. I guess what's happening under the hood is that it's adding this content finder to the queue of content finders. And when
So a
Umbraco
content
tries,
finder is just something like trying to match the URL to a piece of content. Is that how I'm understanding it? Yeah.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay. Cool.
That is how it's used. And since it's a last chance finder, it will return a 404 status code.
Okay, so it's I've tried to match the URL and I can't find anything. I've tried to match against maybe some other custom logic.
Yeah, like
that I've put
the
in.
template, like using an alt template. That's also one.
And then obviously we've got through the queue of those content finders, and obviously there's
Mhm.
I presume just by the name Last Chance, we're at the end of the queue.
Yeah, it adds this one.
Adds this one. Okay, so
And
with
if we take a look,
I was gonna say with your class, what's it doing?
well, it's just taking URI and trying to find the closest content by always stripping a character of that URI and checking the content cache by trying to get a content page by its route.
Okay, so there's
And it's just a while loop, yeah.
okay, that's interesting to know. I never knew in the content cache in the Umbraco context object that there was a method on the content cache which is get by root, which is
Yeah,
quite nice.
you can
So basically, I can give it a URL and it'll basically go and try and look in the content cache to go and find me a node that it thinks it is.
Yeah, exactly. Then after that, I'm trying to find the get not found page. So trying to just find the closest 404 page, and again with a while loop. And if something isn't found, I just return false, which means that this content finder can't find anything, so it will pass its request on to the next one.
Okay, so maybe if you go back to your sample site, you had the Netherlands language that didn't have 404. So what would happen here? Do we go back to the ugly Umbraco 404? What kind of happens?
I think so. Yep. Because
Okay.
nothing has been set here.
Bro.
And then as a last thing in that content finder, I just try to get a content item by ID. If that content item exists, I just return it. And that's the way how this content finder works. So it's
So
pretty
you're
simple.
basically just trying to find the 404 node based on the root and things like that.
Yeah, just finding the closest node, then trying to find the closest 404 page, and then returning that page.
Okay, so obviously you've got that config class. I presume that's then looking at your custom kind of XML file.
Yeah. That config file is just as you see here. Plugin folder is this. The config file name is this.
Try and find me a node where
It just it finds first the config file. It adds it to the cache, and then when getting it, just tries to find a single node where the parent is set to that ID.
Okay, cool.
So it's again really simple code, everything. But it shows you how to extend the content.
Yeah, no, it's
content context menu, and also how to work with those content finders.
Nice. So did you have to? So the HTML dialog that the tree launches.
Yes. So that's an Angular view.
Yeah.
And basically, this I kind of stole from, as you might
Borrowed.
see, borrowed, yeah, from the move dialog.
Okay.
So you see, this looks pretty similar.
Okay.
But as you see, it's using a lot of directives, Angular directives.
Yep.
Like these ones.
Okay, so these are built-in ones from.
These are built-in
like the
Umbraco ones.
tree,
Yeah.
the Umbraco search results. Okay.
Yeah, that we can simply use when making these custom dialogues.
Okay. And I presume the JavaScript for that controller.
Yeah, and that's again, it's also a bit borrowed from the move one, since everything is actually the same. So how the search works, how the selection works, but the actual thing that differs a bit
what's the thing that differs from what you've done?
is actually what happens when we hit the OK button.
Okay, so when I hit OK, what happens then?
Yeah, well, then we say, well, currently the dialog is busy, there's no error. It tries to find the parent ID from the selected node. set the not found page ID. Oh, that's from the selected node, sorry. The parent ID is from the current node ID where we're on.
Yep.
Then it just calls a resource.
Okay, so resource is just like an API endpoint, maybe? Am I guessing? Is
Well,
it
the
doing like a
resource.
post, a get post, or a get, or a post to some controller?
Yeah. You see that it's doing a get and a post. For getting the not found page, it's doing a get, and for setting, it's doing a post.
Okay.
And again, since we've now created this resource, it's easy to inject in your other controllers. So it wasn't really mandatory in this case, but I think it's a bit nicer to doing it this
Yeah,
way.
I think it's a nice pattern in terms
Mhm.
of like if you're trying to teach other people in terms of how to extend Umbraco and how to use it, then yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
using it
But
as
since
a resource is
yeah,
probably the better way to go.
yeah, but now I'm only using it once, so you could say that it isn't needed.
Yeah, it's fine. You may
Mm.
you may need to use this resource in other places at a later date. So
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, we have our package manifest, what we use to inject our styles and JavaScript.
okay, so yeah, so
And
as
this one
this, I was
isn't
gonna say,
needed.
as this isn't a property editor, you're just using this package manifest to just
Yeah,
pass in your custom CSS and pass in your two kind of
yeah,
custom JavaScript files.
yeah. And this way, Umbraco will know, oh, we have to load this CSS and this JavaScript on startup.
Awesome. And I presume the kind of the API controller that your resource
Yeah,
was doing, is it just, I presume, just reading that XML file and adding records to that XML file?
true. It's just using that config class to just doing config get not found page, config set not found page.
Awesome.
And you see that this is an Umbraco authorized JSON controller,
Okay,
meaning,
so inheriting that class, what does that do, or what does that allow us to do?
well, it means that it only supports JSON, so it will always return JSON.
So
And the Umbraco authorized bit means that we can only access it when we're authorized, so when you're logged into the back office.
okay, so I can publicly try and figure out the route to this controller and not be logged into an Umbraco and try and hit it. So I have to be logged in,
Yeah, you have to be
and
logged
then
in.
I could hit this endpoint.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So what's the kind of the attribute plugin controller for? How does that kind of attribute sitting on the top of the class dashboard controller?
I think that just controls the root of your controller.
Okay, so
And it's a convention in Umbraco to, if you're writing a plugin, to just attribute it with plugin
yeah, so
control.
it doesn't get mixed up with kind of the default kind of website routes for controllers. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And as you see now in, I think it's my resource, it appends that
Yep. Okay.
to
So
the
rather than just
API
back
root.
office
That's,
dashboard,
yeah,
it sets
exactly.
that in.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I see this as a nice package to kind of learn quite a few basic concepts in terms of extended Umbraco. So
Yeah. It's something really simple, but like I said, it can be useful when you're running multiple sites in Umbraco. And also, since it has a UI, it's nicer to work with than updating the config file.
yeah, no, definitely. Especially for kind of or content editors, or I know you said it to only be admin, but or people who kind of maybe configuring or setting up the site. It's a nicer way to, like you say, rather than modifying an XML file on disk, to kind of just right click and go, this is the node I want. So that's
Yeah,
definitely a lot
exactly.
nicer. So Doug was asking, I've just got it on the other monitor. Doug is asking, what happens if using your enterprise package and someone also updates the standard Umbraco settings config file? So what would happen? So
I
would
think it falls back to the standard one. I think the standard one is always the last one, but we can give it a
yeah, I was
try.
gonna say let's maybe do some live debugging and see what happens.
So let's say in my NL site, I now say
Sorry,
oh,
dude, you're not sharing your screen.
oh, sorry,
No worries, no worries.
conversation, share screen, start. So in my EN page, I have the page not found set up, and this is ID 1104. So let's move to the Umbraco settings.config. Or maybe I should set up a different
Maybe,
page.
yeah, I was going to say, maybe point it to a different node or another page not found. I don't know, call it.
Page definitely not found.
That sounds good.
Headline. Banner headline not found. So I'm just publishing that new page and then getting its ID, which is 1108, and then setting that in here. So now let's.
So it'll be interesting to see what one wins. So you seem to think that the one in that config that we've just set now is going to be the one that wins.
I think so. I think the standard Umbraco one will always be the last one.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, but we'll find out now.
Let's find out.
So if I go. Oh no.
No, so your one wins. Oh, hey. Oh, no.
No.
Because it says page definitely not found.
Definitely not found. So it's the Umbraco one that wins.
So the Umbraco one that wins.
Yeah.
So if you was to set that back to 1 or whatever its value was in the config file and go back and hit your 404, do you now get your... It's probably because you modified...
Yeah, then we get...
your other one. Sweet. So there you go, Doug. Looks like you can use both, if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I didn't know in which order they were going to be executed.
So now we know.
But I guess once you use the package, you won't need the standard.
Yeah, exactly. You most likely won't use the standard. But I think Doug was more just thinking in terms of that you forgot or you accidentally had that file updated or you pull it from some repository and merge it in. Or
exactly.
It'd be interesting to know that it wouldn't go and explode. So no, cool. So is there anything else that we need to demo on it? Or anything else that you can kind of give as pointers for people kind of wanting to start extending Umbraco?
Well, I think there's a lot of good stuff out there, so take a look at the source code of other stuff and just be inspired by those.
Yeah, I think that's
one thing that
a good point.
Yeah.
Looking at other people's source code is definitely probably the way that I always learn and still learn now.
Exactly. One thing that I've also set up is that it auto creates the Umbraco package and the NuGet package for this package.
Okay, so what, using something like
MS Build.
Okay, using MS Build to generate.
And I also just used like the available stuff out there. So I think I've used the examples from Lee Kelleher and Matt Brailsford, like from the Ditto package, and just saw how they've done it and basically copied their or borrowed their setup.
I'm sure they don't mind.
Yeah, their setup. So thank you guys for
sharing
that.
So I presume with you talking this being kind of automated kind of generation of stuff, are you using something like AppVeyor or like a continuous integration? Okay.
Yeah, that's the final step. So using AppVeyor, everything gets built, the artifacts get created, and it also gets uploaded to NuGet.
Sweet.
Automatically.
Nice. So every time you do a commit or a bug fix, it's just going to go off and build it if it obviously it compiles. Very, very nice. Any other kind of pointers that you can kind of think of, or any kind of good resources that are kind of always good to kind of learn from? So obviously we talked about open source.
Yeah, just look at the other packages that are out there. If you see a package that extended the back office in a specific way and you need that, just look at the source for that, if they open source it. But most of the packages out there...
I would say most packages these days in the community seem to be of an open source nature. So
except Richard.
Just Richard. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to add, or if you kind of got anything else in the pipeline that you're going to kind of hack on or build? You got some ideas?
I'm also hacking on reviving the Look Who's Editing Now package. So the
Do you
package
have
that
that around, or the previous version, or something that we can kind of refresh our
uh,
memories on, or
maybe
even like the project
three.
page or something, just so that we can kind of.
Let me see.
Ah, that's it. Search through the archive of
Yeah,
your
exactly.
vintage blog.
Look Who's Editing Now. I've called that one. So that's
2012, so
not
it's even 3 years
2012.
old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that one allowed you to see when somebody else was modifying a document. It overlaid like a little pencil on the icon in the
Oh,
tree
okay,
and
yeah.
also added something on the actual document. So I don't know if this will work if I play this screen.
No, I think it will work, so we can
Yeah,
try it.
but with the audio and everything, it might not.
Maybe not. Let's see what
Well,
happens.
let's see. So these are two instances. You see that this one is browsing the site, going to a specific page. So now I log in the other instance with another user,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and you see this pencil icon is already shown. So it's they see
Ah.
that there's another user on
Yep.
that page. And if this one now goes to a specific page, here they also get a pencil icon. And you see that we also get a little
Oh.
notification on the
Very nice.
document itself. So that's my next project, making that work in version 7.
Yeah, that would be nice, and it'd be nice maybe even to um, take it potentially one step further. Is to kind of I don't know how you built this previously, but if you're going to use something like Signal R or something similar,
Yeah, yeah. The plan is
to
to use
maybe see
Signal
kind of a
R.
little bit of live content changes
Yeah,
back and forth.
yeah.
Ah, very nice. I look
Let's see
forward.
how
I look
that
forward to seeing
goes.
how it gets rebuilt and probably learning quite a few tips or tricks from you.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm already busy with it, so I think I
Oh,
can.
awesome!
Yeah. And again,
Points.
I've by looking around at on our,
Yep.
I think there's like this package grid.
Is it just called Grid?
No, no. Let me see projects. It's a package that limits the grid for editors. Oh, the grid locker.
Okay.
And this basically, this one also injects a bit of JavaScript on the page. And I looked at the source for that one, and from that source now I know how to do like the look who's editing now a bit.
Okay. So it's
So again, by
inspired
using
you.
yeah, again by looking at what's out there, looking at the source for those things, and being inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely how I learn.
Yeah, exactly. So I can
Tweaking and
encourage
kind of.
everyone. Yeah, I can encourage everyone to just start sharing their stuff. Don't be afraid if it's not the best code, just share it.
No,
No.
I remember in my early days of kind of doing
Do it.
stuff and creating packages. I
Yeah.
was always kind of apprehensive that what
What
other
other
people
people
potentially
potentially
thought. Maybe it's not good enough or whatever. But as we all know, we're a nice, friendly community, and
Yeah, exactly,
people
exactly.
will either offer help or advice or pointers or yeah.
Yeah. Something that I would like to add is some unit testing because I'm not that familiar with unit testing yet. So in the future, I'll learn a bit on that. But if there's somebody out there that would like to show me how to do it, and just send a pull request so I can start
There you
learning.
go. That's contribution number one then.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I look
Yeah.
forward to definitely seeing kind of a few more packages. It seems like you're going to be hacking and doing some bits and bobs. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, I hope so. And I'm always trying to find new ideas, but it's a bit difficult with such great
Yeah,
people out.
exactly. The community's flooded.
Yeah.
When us boys, it was the early days. There was
Yeah.
only like one package a month. There's
Yeah.
like 10 a week now.
Exactly.
So all the good ideas are running out fast.
Yeah, and it's always Matt and Lee that just.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm just gonna quickly check. Oh, I haven't been checking Twitter. Nope. Doug was just saying thanks for the
Okay.
clarification, and Richard's obviously watching as well.
Yeah.
So I think we'll wrap up there, unless there's anything else you want to add, dude.
Buy SEO checker.
Buy SEO checker. What else is Richard's bulk manager? There we go.
Yeah, yeah. Take a look at his packages. I might be like joking around, but he made some really good packages.
No, yeah, I know. He does. He puts a lot of time and effort into
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah. But yeah, like you say, check them out. You come to the UK festival, so I will see you in a month or so.
Yep, exactly. See you there.
Excellent. Thanks for talking
Have
to
a
me,
nice
Tim.
weekend. Yeah,
Yeah,
bye.
you too, Tim. Catch you later. Bye. Bye.